who comes off as such a sophisticated intellectual. Big campaign by the American Association of University Professors to get the ban on him lifted. The State Department had banned him from coming to this country because he's involved with terrorist organizations. But the AAUP, and I'm sure the enlightened people on the UCLA faculty, all petitioned that he should come, and he came. And he was asked, you know, if he was against stoning. Women stoned because they're accused of fornicating. And he said he would like to see a moratorium on stoning. A moratorium, yeah. And I saw a feminist. Her name is Joan Wallach Scott, and she's a professor at the Institute for Advanced Study. What a disgrace, at Princeton. Leading feminist scholar. Defend Tariq Ramadan and the moratorium on stoning. You know, Trotsky once said, he said that Stalinism was a perfect theory for gluing up the brain. And I will say that about progressivism. So what I said at Brooklyn College is this. I said, how is it possible that people who think of themselves as enlightened and progressive you know, for equality of women and blacks and so forth, how is it that they can support Hamas? How is it that they can support Palestinians who are calling for push the Jews into the sea and kill them? And I said, well, I mean, one of the reasons is they probably think, because I am so far removed. I mean, I spent, you know, the first 35 years of my life in the left, but I cannot imagine as a leftist supporting Hamas. But here's what I came up with. Well, the Israelis are oppressing them, so it kind of drives them out of their mind a little bit, and we have to, you know, cut them some slack on that. And you actually hear it. You know, you hear leftists defend suicide bombing as desperation. They have no other choice. Really? What I said was this. People have been oppressed for thousands of years, horribly oppressed, enslaved, massacred. And yet, in thousands of years of recorded history, there has never before, never been a people that has strapped bombs onto its own children, told them to go ahead and blow up other children. And if you do, you're going to go to heaven. And if you're lucky enough to be male, you're going to get 72 virgins. That is sick. That's a sick death cult, is what... Well, every one of you who applauded qualifies to be on the internet as I am. Horowitz spreading hatred at Brooklyn College because all they show me saying is that's sick. Sick culture, which it is. I think part of the problem here, part of the problem certainly on this campus, is that Jews are not standing up for themselves the way they need to. I offered to debate the head of the rabbi who runs Hillel, Chaim Seidler-Feller, who I was once on a TV show. I was on a panel with him, actually, so of course, he won't debate me. As I said, I mean, the left calls you names because they really can't handle the argument, let alone the truth. It's disgraceful that the Jewish community on this campus and the progressive community the progressive community is collusive in this, but that people who think of themselves as enlightened have not said that the apartheid wall is a violation of the very spirit that the University of California presents to its donors and the parents as standing up for. What kind of respect? What kind of respect is it to call a people and a nation, which is the most tolerant, along with the United States, the two most tolerant societies on the face of the earth, bar none, can be defamed with the lies on this wall? Well, and by the way, there's a big map on the wall of occupied Palestine. And I say this is a Hamas map. I saw it at UC San Diego. I've seen it in books supporting the Gaza flotilla, which was designed to break a blockade to keep Hamas from getting more weapons. It shows Palestine in 1946 is Palestine, which is all of Israel. There was no Palestine in 1946. There was the Turkish Empire, which was... Anyway. I don't know if, I've been a very good audience, so I don't even know if there are progressives around who will, but I would like to hear from them on answering this question. Now, if I may digress, but come back, since the issue is intellectual terrorism. Now, the threat I got was from the African American Students Union. Why am I being threatened? Well, there's a leaflet distributed here. And I'm quoted, and this is something I did say, I said, as a result of America's efforts to realize the ideals of equality and freedom, blacks in America are now the freest and richest black people anywhere on the face of the earth, including all of the nations that are ruled by blacks. And the students, and I forgive students for making these kind of errors. I don't forgive their professors. The professors, the leftist professors, are totally derelict in their professional responsibility. Contrary to the propaganda that's put out by the left, I have never called for the firing of a single leftist professor. I defended Ward Churchill, even though I think he should never have been hired. I'm a defender of academic freedom. But I would not forgive faculty for not showing students, teaching them how to think. You're not in a university to be told what to think. When your professor gives you a political speech, that professor needs to be disciplined or removed from the classroom. Let me tell you that students who suffer the most are the liberal students. And the reason is very simple. They're never challenged. They don't learn how to think. If you're a conservative student on this or any campus and you open your mouth, you better know how to defend yourself, because you're going to be attacked by your professor and most of the class. When I went to college, I had professors, and they would defend the position, whatever position was the opposite of what the students were defending, to teach them how to argue. You're in the university to learn how to think, how to assemble evidence. Now, if you read and compose an argument, if you read what I actually said, this was part of my campaign 10 years ago where I first became notorious. Well, the left did me a favor. It raised my speaking fee. I was against reparations, not because I'm against reparations for slaves, but because there are no slaves anymore. And a campaign for reparations means that you are accusing everybody who is not a descendant of slave of being complicit in slavery and owing you money. So that meant you had to tell a Hispanic who's been in the country for maybe 10 years, is trying to learn English and put bread on the table for his children, that he's responsible for slavery. 80% of the population is descended of Americans, are descended from immigrants who came here after the 1880s, after slavery. And of the people who have ancestors before that, a lot of them have ancestors who died trying to defeat the South and free blacks from slavery. So I was against it also because it isolated. I mean, you know, Malcolm X made my generation say black, African Americans, whatever. These names are, to me, just a way of keeping people walking on eggshells rather than reality. I was going to isolate African Americans from all other Americans. People were going to be resentful. And if a program was needed for inner city African Americans who are suffering, who is going to oppose it if it works? You know, Bush had the No Child Left Behind program. I mean, who opposes Head Start, which unfortunately doesn't work? But everybody thinks it works, so everybody supports it. And in the ad, I was appealing to black students, because these ads were taken out in college papers. Don't give up your American heritage. This is to, you know, if you see America as the oppressor nation, you give up something. Black people were almost the first people to come here. So recognize, there's been a great success story. Now, in this little leaflet, it suggests that I'm claiming that the government is responsible for helping, you know, for all the improvement in the black community. Look, I'm a conservative. Government is what created slavery. It's not going to create the solutions. It's just that the founders here created a system of incredible opportunity for people. And black people, against all odds, and with great burdens, have had tremendous achievements, but the left wants to hide the achievements. I got a threat for saying black people in America are successful. That don't make any sense. I wish there were professors here. Some people have a hard time hearing the truth. I wish there were professors here who would do their jobs. Well, I think I've exhausted my subject here. Like I say, I'm surprised. It's been a very civil audience. I've immediately changed my view of UCLA students. And I'm really, really happy to do so, because I enjoy a good intellectual discussion. I don't enjoy screaming. All right, I'm going to open thank you very much, and I'll open the mic for questions.